Hello, hello, hello. Are you ready for nap time, story time? Surprise, surprise, I'm starting on time today. I am sure you recognize this. Don't forget, you only pointed at your arm. Like that. Or as Tab says, like so, like that. My temperature today is 97.9. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm ready. What about you? Ooh, I see my reflection in the tablet. Today's story is entitled The Little Red Lighthouse and the Great Gray Bridge by Hildegard H. Swift and Lynn Ward. And there's a reason I have this out today, because there is a photo I took of the Little Red Lighthouse. It doesn't want to stay on. A photo I took of the Little Red Lighthouse in 2015 when I took my campers on a trip. Okay, that's enough of you seeing me because I am a mystery. You also can go visit the Little Red Lighthouse. It's under the George Washington Bridge on the New York side in the park. You have to take a long walk down a steep hill. A lot of people ride bikes, but it's so worth it. Oh, it's a lovely, glorious place to visit. You can sit out. They have tables where you can sit out and have your lunch. There's even, can you believe, not a swimming beach, but there's an actual shoreline where I sat and Jaden took my pictures, and I think Anthony took my pictures too, on the beach along the Hudson under the George Washington Bridge. Anyway, I will read this story to you. I am sure you're familiar with it. I'm even sure you've passed by the Little Red Lighthouse while you were on the highway. Maybe you noticed it, maybe you haven't. But the next time you're under the George Washington Bridge, it actually isn't on this side of the bridge. It's on that side of the bridge. So, what did I do here? So, it'll be on this side of the bridge if you're leaving the Bronx and entering Manhattan. I was lucky to get this book. I get books donated or I go to used book places. And this one came, I guess, from thrift books. And I only paid maybe $2 or $3 for it. So if you're like me and you like books, you have to find a way to get them that won't break the bank. Okay, that's enough small talk. On with the story. Here's the picture. Once upon a time, a little lighthouse was built on a sharp point of the shore by the Hudson River. It was round and fat and red. It was fat and red and jolly, and it was very, very proud. Behind it lay New York City, where the people lived. Before it sailed the boats on which the people rode. Up and down sailed the boats. On and on rolled the river. All the way from Lake Tyr in the clouds, high up in the mountains, came the Hudson River. It rolled down the mountains. It rolled and rolled and rolled. It rolled past Albany. It rolled past New York. And it went forever looking for the sea. Now the boats on the river talked to the Little Red Lighthouse as they passed. "Hoot, hoot, hoot, how are you?" said the big steamer with the deep, throaty whistle. "Salute!" lisped the slender canoe as it slid along the shore. Pardon me while I take a sip of water. Thank you. Chug, 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 cheerio, called the fat, black tug as it puffed its way, pulling a large load of coal on a barge. By day, the Little Red Lighthouse did not answer. It was quiet when the boats called. It was still. But every night, just at fall of dark, a man came to tend the Little Red Lighthouse. He took out his jingling keys. He unlocked the small red door in its side. He climbed its steep and winding stairs, up, 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 to the very top. He took off the thick white cap that let it sleep by day. He turned on the gas with a funny small black key. Up, up, up flowed the gas from the 6 red tanks below. Then the Little Red Lighthouse spoke out plainly. "Flash! Flash! Flash!" 1 second on, 2 seconds off. "Look out! Watch me! Danger! 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 Watch my rocks! Keep away! Flash! Flash! Flash!" It felt big and useful and important. What would the boats do without me, it thought. It felt very proud. The boats saw the light and were safe. The boats saw it and they kept to the channel. The boats were grateful to the Little Red Lighthouse. Sometimes a fog crept up the river. Then the man would come to wind up a big black clock inside the Little Red Lighthouse. He wound and wound and wound it. The clock was joined to an iron bell outside. The bell began to ring. "Warning! Warning!" it said. "Flash!" said the light. "Warning!" said the bell. The Little Red Lighthouse had 2 voices then. Every day it felt bigger and prouder. "Why, I am the master of the river," it thought. Then, one day, a gang of workmen came and began to dig. They dug and dug and dug. By and by, great steel girders began to rise up against the sky. A big group of men were carried over the Hudson on a barge. Across the barge stood 4 great reels, and from each reel there trailed a slender silver line. All the boats on the river stopped moving. All the nearby boats turned to look. Even the river seemed to be very, very still. When the men came back, they seemed happy. "The first cables are over," they called. "The catwalk will be up soon." And the other men shouted, "Hurrah!" What do they mean? Thought the Little Red Lighthouse. What are those things called cables that are over? Now the days and weeks went by. Every night, the little lighthouse spoke plainly. "Flash! Flash! Flash!" Every day, it watched a strange, new, gray thing beside it grow and grow. Huge towers seemed to touch the sky. Strong loops of steel swept across the river. How big it was! How wonderful! How powerful! A great gray bridge spanning the Hudson River from shore to shore. It made the Little Red Lighthouse feel very, very small. Then one night, a great beam of light flashed from the top of the nearest great tower. "Flash! Turn! Flash!" "Now I am needed no longer," thought the Little Red Lighthouse. "My light is so little, and this one so big. Perhaps they will give me up. Perhaps they will tear me down. Perhaps they will forget to turn my light on." That night it stood waiting and waiting. It felt glum and anxious and queer. The night grew darker and darker. Why did the man not come? The Little Red Lighthouse could neither speak nor shine. Then, in the middle of the night, came a storm. The wind moaned. The waves beat against the shore. A thick fog crept over the river and tried to clutch the boats one by one. The fat black tug was just coming back home from Albany. It was caught and blinded by the fog. It looked for the Little Red Lighthouse, but it could not find it. It listened for the bell, but it could not hear it. So thick the fog was, it could not see the light flashing high up from the great gray bridge. Crash! 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 The fat black tug ran upon the rocks and lay wrecked and broken. The great gray bridge called to the Little Red Lighthouse, "Little brother, where is your light?" "Am I brother of yours, bridge?" wondered the lighthouse. "Your light was so bright that I thought mine was needed no more." I called to the airplanes, cried the bridge. "I flashed to the ships of the air, but you are still master of the river. Quick, let your light shine again. Each has his own place, little brother." So the little red lighthouse tried to shine once more, but though it tried and tried and tried, it could not turn itself on. This is the end of me, it thought. This is really the end. My man will not come. I cannot turn myself on. Very likely I shall never shine again. Dark and silent it stood, and it was very, very sad. But at last it heard the door open far below. At last it heard steps running up the stairs. Why, here was the man hurrying to tend it. Where have you been, man? I thought you were never coming. Oh, those boys, they stole my keys. This will never happen again. Now, the Little Red Lighthouse knew it was needed. The bridge wanted it. The man wanted it. The ships must need it still. It sent a long, bright, flashing ray out into the night. 1 second on, 2 seconds off. Flash! 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 Look out! Danger! Watch me! It called. Soon its bell was booming out too. Warning! It cried. Warning! The Little Red Lighthouse still had work to do, and it was glad. And now, beside the great beacon of the bridge, the small beam of the lighthouse still flashes. Beside the towering gray bridge, the lighthouse still bravely stands. Though it knows now that it is little, it is still very, very proud. And every day, the people who go up Riverside Drive in New York City turn to look at it. For there they both are, the Great Gray Bridge and the Little Red Lighthouse. And if you don't believe it, go see it for yourselves, just like the picture I showed you. That's the end of the story. I'll show you my picture of the bridge once again. That's called Jeffrey Hook Lighthouse.